adjust my.
We're starting. We're live.
All right. Hey guys, we're live again. Here we are again. Stepcho, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. Playing some game. I'm a gamer now.
If anyone recognizes which game this is, let us know. This is the big challenge. Our reward will be we'll read your comment and comment if it's true or not. Stepcho, man,
Wow.
I
The controls are
what?
fucked up though, for some reason. Wait, what the fuck is happening? It's lagging or
That's the
something.
that's the challenge, man.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
Don't pretend. You probably suck
something
and you
weird is
just not
happening.
trying to excuse yourself.
Oh yeah, that's not my horse anyway. Uh, but it's still weird. And of course,
Well,
like
I'm
every
playing.
time, some problems will happen.
For those of you who don't know, I'm playing the same game, but not the same game. I'm playing my own version of this game.
You're in your
but
own.
but the one that you're seeing is from Stepchu. Stepchu is streaming his screen. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I wanted to say first of all that last episode was really nice, and I'm super proud of it. But it unfortunately got banned because we were having too much fun. It was banned for fun. I mean, Stepchu, we can both admit that it was banned for extra fun.
It was too amazing.
It was too amazing for YouTube to handle. Well, the truth was we were so happy that we played music from our phones just to have a background for this conversation, and the music was of course like our favorite song, so they
Well, the
were
thing is,
all
we started like we wanted to play a song, but then you said make sure it's royalty free. But then we got so happy that we forgot to check, and
yeah, we got too happy and we forgot about everything. But I mentioned it at the beginning, and then
yeah, we were so
we
careful.
played Alpha One, which is our friend's Ori Luke's
Oh yeah,
song.
that was alright. Yeah.
And that was all right, I think. That didn't cause the ban. What are you doing now? I'm killing these goals. I'm actually I'm on a quest, one of the Witcher contracts. I'm trying to kill some
I'm on the
monster.
main quest, I think. Uh, uh, shit.
Yeah, I'm still just wasting most of my time just fucking doing these side quests and chasing these question marks. But anyway, but you know, um, I told you today I was watching Joey Diaz, and he had a couple of days ago he had a podcast,
Oh
and
yeah,
man,
actually
I
I
gotta
watched
tell you,
it. I just watched it. I mean, I haven't have it paused
yeah.
on my TV. I mean, but I've
So what do you
almost
think?
saw it all. I mean,
What do
I've
you
been
think?
looking at his podcast last one, like with this bird. What was his name? Something. Then Tom Segura. Then this guy. They're kind of iterating over the same things. Like Rogan a lot. He repeats himself a lot. But yeah, I like them. Like, what do you mean?
Man, I mean, this guy's like street wise. You know, he's wise, but not like
Yeah.
a professor wise, but he's wise, you know, life
Well,
wise.
all of them are.
I just talked to Augie about the same thing, and he said, you know, that prison will do that to you. You know, will make you smart. But
But this
yeah, I
guy,
mean, he says things that are obvious.
he is from Sopranos or something. I'm not sure what's. I mean, he's
Yeah,
famous, but
he played a part on The Sopranos.
because
Yeah,
I
I think.
haven't seen
Uh,
this. Yeah.
but anyway, the point is like he's wise, you know, in many ways, and like the reason I mention it is because today I was watching an episode for like maybe 5 days ago or something. I don't know if it was the latest one, but he was talking about the virus, obviously, and the way he was talking about it was so thoughtful, you know, and sweet. And this guy's really a caring kind of, really loving person
Wait, who
and
this
a
Diaz
family
guy?
guy.
Who?
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah,
He wasn't.
and
He was just crazy about it. He was very scared because he's old.
no, but like you know, he was telling that for people to be careful.
Ah.
You know, like I remember. So what I mentioned to you is like so basically one of the things he said was that nowadays people you know have to take responsibility and take advantage of this situation because if they don't, you know, what options do you have? You either get into a funk, you know, you start feeling depressed with this whole situation, you feel sad and depressed and whatever, or you take advantage to think about life. And I mean, the same things we were thinking about. But something similar happened back in December around Christmas time when I was for one and another for a couple of reasons I was staying here. I was basically in Barcelona by myself. Everyone else, like most people, we're back home on vacations. My cousins invited me to Poland. My other friends invited me to other places, but I was like, no, I gotta stay here. I had my own reasons. I mean, mostly I was like saving up money for January because I had the birthday. I went to Vietnam and this and that. And I was like, okay, I'm having a vacation coming, so I can't go right now. I'm gonna be sticking around. I take one for the team. But as I stayed, I got into the funk a little bit because people were not around. There was not that much work because people were also not working. So in my line of work, they're not responding to what I'm writing. So I was like, well, what am I gonna do? So it got me into this weird mood, and I watched an episode of Joey Diaz's podcast that he did just specifically for that purpose, and it was directed at people like me. It was directed at people who maybe don't have a family left, or are in a bad place in life, or whatever, or for some or another reason around Christmas are not feeling great. And it was so nice to hear that. I was like, wow, this is just exactly what I was looking for. I didn't even look for it. I just played a random video, and it was just so hopeful. And that's the same way I feel about this episode I watched today. It was really nice.
Nice. But I don't know. I didn't. I mean,
So
I
have you?
didn't finish it, but I didn't feel he was very hopeful. I mean, I don't know. They were just wanting to run away or something.
Yeah, no, now he feels a little more worried because of his problems, and
Yeah,
his daughter has asthma, and
yeah.
like he's been smoking his whole life. He's not the healthiest man, so in that sense, he's worried. But yeah, but he's still empathizing with people. Have you recently like found some interesting new YouTube channels or something that I should check out?
Me? New.
Yeah.
I mean, I sent you this Chris D'Elia guy. That's the last one. But I've been
Oh yeah,
at
right.
some point.
No, I haven't checked
At some point,
to
I
watch
watch like
those.
3 podcasts every evening before I went to sleep. Well, yeah. I mean, he's cool. He's like, I think you like him. Like, he's a lot. He sometimes reminds me of you actually. Like when he starts improvising. Uh,
Hmm.
he's nice. Yeah.
Well, I watched them. Recently I watched this. There's this show on Netflix. You. Have you heard of this? It's like super cheesy, but actually not bad. Halfway decent, very entertaining show. It's about this like creep who's obsessing over some girls and then like becomes a creep. It's an interesting idea. But anyway, on the second season, this Chris D'Elia played a role there. He played like a celebrity of some sorts, and yeah, he did a good job. I mean, I've never seen him in like a big acting role, but that was
No, you should just see
not
him
bad.
ramble like about stuff. He's
Yeah.
crazy.
I remember like the very first time I saw him like many years ago. It was just the first thing I ever remember seeing him was he was doing a Keanu Reeves impression, which no one was doing at the time. It was some video from the Laugh Factory, and he
I
was
think he's
impersonating
getting
Keanu
really
Reeves.
better. Like in the last years, he's been really. I mean, because I see the
Yeah.
progression now. When I started from the start, and like in 2 years, he's getting better.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, that's cool, right? I mean, isn't it rewarding to follow an artist and you see kind of how he grows and you
Yeah,
grow with
and
him?
like
And
this podcast helps. I think. It's. I think he has a new special coming in 14th of April. I think he'll kill it. Like
on
this will be.
Netflix, or
Yeah, Netflix.
oh, I need to check it out. Yeah, there are a lot of people are releasing stuff now because they have nothing else to do but to edit, I guess. So they want to release it now because they're going to lose money from not being able to shoot anything now new, like the studios. So they just rearrange their work and they're like, okay, let's focus on the editing now and produce and release everything so that as soon as the lockdown is over, they can whatever shoot new stuff. So now I saw a couple of specials come out, and there's some movies and some
I think.
like I
I
think
mean, I
they're,
think they
they're
they had those scheduled anyway.
yeah. I mean the ones that are coming out now for sure. I mean they can't like speed it up that
Yeah.
much, but I think we're gonna see more of that coming. I think
Oh yeah,
we're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
more stuff to watch as we're kind of locked down, which is cool
I'm looking
in a
forward to the
sense.
music.
Yeah,
I'm sure there'll be a
you
lot
mean
of
the music
music.
that's
Yeah,
gonna come
yeah,
out
yeah,
after, like
yeah. They're
writing?
writing a lot now.
Yeah, the same thing as like with the writing groups I told you like that I had on Facebook's like there's all these people like hashtagging like writing during this time, and everyone is about uh, yeah, it's a perfect opportunity to write. And
Yeah.
Man, I got this. I fucking got to the bottom of the skill tree on the shield, and now it's like so fucking strong. Like when they hit me with the shield, not only is it giving me life, but it's taking life from them. Like they're
Yeah, I
being
saw that.
hit by these lightnings. It's
I,
crazy.
I don't know, I'm just doing the swords. I've always done swords in
Well,
any game.
I'm doing basically three magic skills. I'm doing the shield, I'm doing the fire, and I'm doing the other one with the one that locks them in, like the purple one, the violet one, I rather.
Mm.
That one is not bad either. And I have all these blue mutagens or whatever they're called, and I have like upgrade them to the Mach, and it's pretty cool. Let me see if someone is. Oh, actually, because you're probably playing. Let me try to open up and maybe see if someone has any comments.
And I can see too, there are no
Um,
comments.
can you see it? Okay. All right. Well, if you can, then I'm not gonna check.
There are no comments. Oh,
I like how some of
shit.
the names.
Ah.
What's
No,
that?
no, I thought, I don't know, nothing, like, whatever. It's hard.
You know, it's weird how some of the names here in this game are like super Polish and Slavic and whatever, but some of them are like totally out of place, like
Haven't noticed.
made up weird. And then all of them they're pronounced like in English. You know, I was disappointed when I tried to change the language and there was no Polish. I was like, wow, fucking
Yeah.
assholes, you know. And then they tell you like, you know, these cutscenes when you load, it's like, you know, and now you're on your way to Novigrad.
How is it pronounced?
Oh, I don't know, Novigrad. I mean,
Uh,
it's like anything else.
yeah, I
But
guess.
I mean, it should be like imagine a game where they read it like I don't know, you're on your way to Stara Zagora, and if you just travel south from Domi Bergerov, you get you know I mean, like
I don't know, I mean, it's weird to read it in Bulgarian too. They translate these monsters in some Bulgarian. I mean, it's terrible book either way, but this makes it even worse. Like, you know, we have these weird words for our Bulgarian
oh
fall.
you read the book in Bulgarian.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, of course, I wouldn't read it translated to English, then translate it to Bulgarian. I mean, yeah. I mean, what did I say? Anyway, I mean, it's either way a translation. I can't read it in Polish.
Why aren't you reading it in English, for example?
Because it's still a translation. Why would I? I mean, I don't like reading translations that are done in English.
Ah,
Because I would prefer to read the original.
no, for sure, yeah.
But if it's not the original, I would prefer Bulgarian. It's already
You know what
lost
really
anyway,
pisses
you
me
know.
off? What really pisses me off in this game is like you do something like the task, like kill the monster, and then you have to talk to 57,000 people before you actually get your reward. Like go talk to this guy, go talk to this guy, go talk to this guy. And so
Oh,
like
really?
wasting
Oh.
time on this.
I mean, I don't know. No, it's not.
Well, not every mission is like that, but you know.
Mm. But yeah, the cutscenes are too much. Like when I entered this last city, this Novigrad city, like half an hour of cutscenes. Like fuck, I wanna play. And the quests there were all cutscenes. All the quests in the city.
Yeah. And I was playing some main quests last night when we were playing, and I was like, it was just fucking just skipping through cutscenes, and then
Yeah,
I got the experience at the end.
yeah.
It was
It's like
okay.
800.
That was
Otherwise, it's too.
yeah.
By the way, do you collect everything from everywhere? I just collect some random shit.
I stopped. Like I don't collect the skins anymore because they're so heavy,
Oh yeah,
like the bear
fucking
skins.
skins. Yeah, maybe I should stop.
And but are you using the chests like to
Yeah, I
keep your
dump
ship?
everything.
I just dumped the heads from the contracts, the monster heads, because they're pretty heavy,
But
and I only use
why do you
one. The
keep
one that
them?
I don't know, because they're
But
cool.
they're
They're
like
like.
two types. Everything else is the same, no?
All right, I'm level 24 right now. Just leveled up.
Shit, I'm 18.
Well, you're going pretty fast,
I
man.
played all day.
But the thing is, like, no, you're gonna catch up soon because the way I'm playing is like I just fucking go after these question marks. Um,
Fuck this. I should hide until midnight, whatever that means.
How is this possible? So I'm about to upgrade the Igni sign, and it says next level increases the chance to apply burning. Like the whole fucking trick is burning people. Like increase the
What?
chance to apply burning
Ah,
by.
the Signy one. Yeah.
What does that mean, man? Increase the chance to apply burning.
Fucking hell.
Well, let me show you this because I mean people are not seeing what I'm seeing. So let me show you. This is my fucking tree at the moment. It's just fucking blue.
Damn. So you just play with blue? I mean, just magic stuff?
Well, yeah, but I
You don't.
mean, the items are pretty cool that I got, so they're fine. And this shit is like makes you super strong. Anyway. Like I kill them mostly with the magic.
With the what?
So did you get to the fucking thing to playing some music or not yet? Like or you still like struggling with writer's block and
Ah,
stuff?
no, I haven't yet played it. I should have played. Goddamn. No.
Mm.
It's hard, man. No, it's
It's
not
hard,
hard,
man.
but
I know.
I'm just weak.
Like I'm looking back at like when I was writing the songs that I wrote for the show and stuff like that. Really, if it wasn't for a specific goal or like there's something coming up, and I'm like, oh, that would be great to write a song for that. I wouldn't probably write them. Like, there's no inspiration or anything. It's just an idea, you know.
Yeah.
It's just it's a good thing to do, I guess. It's like, yeah, people probably gonna like that. No, it's not like, oh, that's gonna be the shit. It's not like that anymore, you know. It hasn't been like that like forever. It's just been like that maybe in the beginning. You know what I mean? Like it's like drug addiction, I think. It's like drug addicts. You read about drug addicts that they kind of always chase that first high. You know, like the first time they get high, it's so
Yeah.
amazing. And then like the level of highness versus the pain. And then it just like the scales shift. And then eventually it's just pain, but you still keep upping up the dosage just to get to that same level of pleasure. And the pain goes up. And I think it's the same with writing. Like at the beginning, you get this incredible, like, oh, you know, the first time you sit down, you have all these ideas because they've accumulated, you've never released them, you know. And then afterwards, you just chase that memory of this experience but you fail to get there. You just like you remember it, but you know you're always one step behind, and every time it's just more work and less of that. But then other pleasures come in actually. Other pleasures, the pleasure of getting it done. You know, like I told you this recently, but you know there are two things in my life that I'm extremely proud of, and you know like not in a selfish way proud because I don't advertise and those are not things that I can even point out as like trophies of some sort. But one of them is the old channel, like the videos, especially when I was doing the show, like the weekly episodes, because I look back at it and it's like a body of work, episodes that over time I did. And maybe some were bad and some were cringy and some were looking backwards, some were weird, but overall there were good moments in every episode. There was a little bit of something really cool in every episode. And that makes me feel proud, that I made that happen, that body of work. And the other thing now recently becomes uh, this spreadsheet I have, this Excel spreadsheet on Google Docs, where I have all the stories that I wrote. So every time I finish a story, I put an entry there and I say, okay, the name of the story, the word count, the day that I finished the story, and then the reason I have this spreadsheet is just to keep track of all the submissions because I send them to different magazines, right? So I write, okay, so usually I send them in batches. Well, you're not supposed to do multiple submissions, simultaneous submissions. Most of the magazines they don't like it. Meaning, if you, for example, submit to one magazine and then you submit the same story to another magazine, it would be a waste of time for the first one to read the story if they know that another one might accept it, right? But obviously, everyone does simultaneous submissions because you wait for months sometimes to hear back from them, because they have hundreds and hundreds of stories in their queue. So you wait for months to hear back, and finally, they only to be rejected. So you have to submit to many. So what I do is I usually submit to like two or three, and I wait to get rejected by them. Then I submit to another two or three, and then another two or three, and so on. And I have like a kind of way to prioritize which ones I like more, the magazines, I mean. So I submit first to them. So this spreadsheet with all these stories is now becoming this new thing that I'm really proud of, like this body of work of, look, I wrote all these fucking stories, and it's no one has seen this. Well, maybe I've shown it to like a friend or two, but it's not something that I advertise, like, oh, look at this. It's just something for me that is like meaningful, and is like, yeah, I've done the work, and look, this is the result of that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have something like that when it comes to music? Like, do you have something that like you look at it and you're like, wow, this like your band maybe, or a photo, or some memory or something from
When
the time of the.
I had my YouTube channel before, but now no, now I have nothing. uh,
Yeah, what happened to
yeah,
that? Why did you stop doing that?
because it was kind of cheating. When I was playing
What do you
some other songs, like not mine. I'm sure I got 200,000 views, but it doesn't. In the end, it's. I mean, I realized I'm doing it just for the views.
Ah, I got you.
And it was a lot of work. Like I have to record and edit, blah blah,
Yeah.
and play it without mistakes. Shit.
Yeah, make sure your face is not there for some reason that was important to you.
Yeah.
Like if you ever find Stepchus channel, you'll notice that he's not there. It's like
Well, that's
someone playing.
how some of them do it. Where the
That's
fuck
like the
should
way
I?
they do it. Yeah. What
No,
about this,
not all
man?
of
Have
them.
you seen this? Now there is this new thing, and like new genre of porn. There's like faceless girls. They cut their heads for some reason. Like, what is
Uh,
that about? Have you seen these videos? That's like the
no.
weirdest. I would never jerk off to this. Like, I mean, come on. Like, there's like nothing more misogynistic and personifying women than this. I've never heard of anything else. This, like, you don't even look at the face of the girl. What do you mean?
Maybe they don't want to be seen. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
I
not
mean,
the
yeah,
style.
obviously that's the practical explanation for it, but people are into this, I guess.
I,
What's happening on your screen?
I'm
What
just
are you doing
listening to
now?
some cutscenes, dialogues, and trying to understand what they want from me, and trying to listen to you, which in the end I achieve nothing.
Yeah, by the way, it's harder than normal. I mean, these gamers now understand why they're so famous, man, and why they have so much money. They totally deserve it because they're juggling, man. It's so hard. You've
Fuck.
got to play and talk. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Anyway, I'm
Yeah.
being so.
No, but yeah, it's much better than the series and the book actually. They thought it out much more.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what everyone is saying, that the game is like really the shit
Yeah,
compared to everything else. That's the real accomplishment.
yeah,
But I don't know.
I see it too.
So
But I think I'll get tired of
let's,
it soon.
yeah, yeah. Unless we keep doing this and this gets the 200,000 views, and just like the other channel, you start doing this
Oh
for the
yeah.
views. No, but if you think about it, that's the bigger question is, every artist in a sense is self-centered, right? Every artist is saying in a way, listen to me, look at me, like this is worth
Well,
your time, right?
not really. I mean, I wouldn't say so.
Well, why not? Think about it this way. For example, you go on stage with your guitar, you hook it up to a device that makes it
Yeah,
louder
but
than
it's not
anything.
like you make people come. You just say
No, of course.
I'm playing. If you wanna come, whatever. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but you secretly hope that they'll come, right? You secretly hope that this is so dangus, right? This is such shit that like people will fucking love it so bad that they will come and ask for more and bring their friends, and
Yeah,
right.
I guess yeah.
So I think there is an amount of narcissism involved, but maybe it's
But
like a game, like when you, I don't know.
how else will we make
may-
money? I mean, it's not only that, but I don't know. How did I pass through this door? What the fuck? This door is. Oh my god. Anyway.
Well, that's the thing. Even if there's no performance involved, I think the narcissistic part and the confidence is still there. Because, for example, if you're writing, it's the same thing. You even though like you don't even care about your name being there. Like this is I just want people to read this story and enjoy it and not give a fuck, right? But still, you're thinking that your words are more special, or your characters are more special than anyone else, and they deserve to be heard.
I wouldn't say
So,
necessarily. No, I wouldn't say everyone has this.
what do you think is the other?
I mean,
Because I'm
people
saying
just
this is like
write,
a
you know.
secret motivation.
They just write because I don't know. A lot of them didn't have feedback. You know, a lot of them got appreciated after they died. You know, it's not like now with Facebook you get likes right away. So
Man,
they
did I
just
say
wrote.
about this? Because we will end up like I end up repeating myself like Joy Diaz. Tell me if I've told this before on the podcast, but uh, I was watching this video by Alain de Botton, who's like this really cool like philosopher kind of dude, and it was like on writing, and the video is basically entitled "Why So Many People Want to Write Today," and the guy was like saying it was basically trying to diagnose this as a psychological problem. And he was like, people want to write because they want to be heard, because they're lonely, because their voice is not heard. So they're writing so that people, and you know, it was like, this guy is super smart. And the channel is very popular and people love it. And all the videos are amazing. But this one got so much overwhelming hate. Like the comments and everything. It was like people were like, yeah, thanks for ruining my passion and diagnosing me, you know, in the meantime. But it's true. Like it was very negative. Like, you know, even when I say now people are narcissistic, like artists are, I'm not saying that is the main motivation. I'm saying that's one of many. You know, I'm saying that's one aspect of it. But I think that it's present in one form or another in any art. I really think so. Because otherwise, if you don't think that, you know, even I'm not saying that you must be a confident person. It could be actually the opposite. Like in me, when I was starting up with stand up, I was very unconfident, and uh, and because of that, I needed the stand up because it was like I don't feel confidence in myself, so I put this act on, and I get on stage and I'm so cool, and now people like me. But you know, this creates even more problems because if you really have a problem and you try to solve it this way, you can't because then people like the act and you still feel lonely and you still feel like you're
Yeah,
not
that's why you
heard, you know?
shouldn't put an act. You know, just be yourself.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the goal, right? To be as kind of close to your true self as possible. But you know, that's actually, you know, that when you say that, that's a very cool point.
I mean,
That every artist should strive for being truthful, you know, with what they're doing, and the closest they are to expressing their true thoughts and feelings, that the better the artist.
yeah, and
But
it will get to people anyway.
it's not like it's not like you can't do it. It's just like it's just hard to do it, and because we're not honest with ourselves a lot of times, you know what I mean? Like you're lying to yourself all the time, and you're not even realizing. You're saying, "Oh, I'm honest. You know, I told you everything." Well, you don't even know everything. Like you don't even know. Hold on. Someone is writing to me, so instead of responding, I'm gonna say sorry, I'm busy, and I'm gonna send a link to this video.
You're busy.
Um, okay. Oh,
Yeah, I
we're
think so.
back.
Yeah.
All right, guys, sorry, there was an interruption for some reason. And these guys started yelling again outside. You know, every day at 8 o'clock, they start fucking yelling and booing and whatever. They're booing the disease, I guess.
Oh, nice.
Like, boo disease, get out of the way, get out of the way, bitch. You know this song?
Of course.
Um, anyway, just got another place of power, baby. And I drained another fucking point. Got another point, baby. It's all about the points. What's the point of the points? Can someone explain this to me?
Oh, finally found something.
To have all these points. And if anyone has any questions, let us know, guys, because we are eager to have questions. Questions, it's
I
like in
wonder
school.
if we'll get blocked again because it's copyright.
For what? For the game?
I don't know for anything.
For anything? Because
Like
we're on
it's
the
showing
radar. We're
some
on the YouTube radar.
it's showing
We're
some
already.
hanged people. This game is brutal.
um, Stefcho, we were talking about something with you the other day, and that was that both of us are kind of interested in the possibility and in the coolness of teaching kids something. And my question is, why are you interested in doing that? What makes you think that would be a cool thing to do?
I don't know. I can work on my social skills.
First of all,
Uh,
we're talking about what? We're talking about your like the thing that you're really knowledgeable about, which is programming, I guess, or something else.
I would say informatics, not programming, but yeah. No, I just like the idea. You just chill there. The thing is I don't know. It's like you know, they say like when you understand something, this means you can explain it to a kid, I guess. So, did it
Yeah.
disconnect again? Oh, okay.
So you want to find out if you understand it or not after
No, no,
many
no. I
years of doing.
mean, I think I'll be able to, because I understand it, that I'll be able to explain it. And I don't
But
really
are you
wanna.
sure it's the same? Are you sure the two things are the same? Like, for example, I think you can also attest to that, but I know of teachers that I've had in my life who are incredible geniuses at what they know, but not the best at explaining it, these things in particular. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I might not be, but it's you don't have to be the best. You just have to be good enough.
Right.
I think kids will like me. I think.
Yeah, I think there's something like you're like for example, you're much more attuned to what the things like younger people are into. Like I'm always like wondering what the old people are into, you know, like what are the 80-year-old doing now? But you know, you're like I just had this conversation with a friend today, you know, over call, and you know, she said like we are talking about this, like you know, the spirit of the spirit of the person, you know. And you know that my parents were much older. They were like the generation of most of my kind of people at my age,
Oh
grandparents.
fuck this! I'll have to play with this Siri. God damn it, it's the worst.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so because of that, I always feel like you know I'm kind of like I'm in a different
Mindset.
mindset, like of an older person. Like I'm a little bit older. I feel like than many others. Mentally, like you know. And you, I think you're younger in the sense that like your spirit is younger, so in that sense I agree with you, but I'm not sure um for myself. uh, I don't know, it's an interesting thing because being a teacher is, I like the aspect of giving back to the community, you know, like you know something, you become an expert at it and you kind of give back. That is great.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, I feel like it's you can learn from kids also. So it's like vice versa. You know, you learn something from them, especially in some fields, like maybe not computer science, but for example, I think it would be super cool if I was teaching like high school kids literature. You know, like uh, books and stuff. And you know, I would have to read those books. I'd have to go back and read the classics and read these awesome books again and come up with my theories and my way of analyzing these books. And then I'll ask the kids, and then I'll try to somehow, I don't know, somehow get them to be creative in their way of thinking. So I really can get the, you know, like their ideas out of it for their sake and for my sake, because I might learn something from that too. You know what I mean? Do you think there would be something like that possible in also in your field? Like you have the kids actually be able to teach you something or not really?
Uh, I don't know what can they. I just don't wanna be on the computer all day. I wanna be. I don't know.
with people more, or
Yeah, I'm not looking at the monitor. Fuck this. I don't care about the money anymore. It's fuck. Oh, man, I should go do some questions. I can't follow the dialogue and talk. I don't even follow it. I'm just trying and
I think it's a nice challenge to play and to talk because
no,
like
no. I mean,
it
I should
gets
just go to question marks because there's no dialogues there.
yeah, but I think it's a nice challenge to try to multitask like this because
But it's
it
not working.
forces you.
It forces me, but it's not working for me.
Yeah, but what is not working, the game or the
Yeah, I
conversation?
don't
Because I think
understand. Yeah, both of them.
no, but here's my point. What I'm trying to make is that um, it makes you talk differently. Like you cut to the chase faster. I had this experience. I don't think I talked about it here. Maybe I mentioned it, but I don't think I talked about it. Last year, I decided it was a combination of things. It was like being kind of challenged into it, but also being curious about it myself. I kind of decided to do a 5-day fast. So for 5 days, I didn't eat nothing, man. For 5 days, it was just water, nothing, not even nothing. No supplements, no food, no coffee, no nothing, just water for 5 days, 120 hours. And I noticed pretty quickly that it changes the way you think and the way you speak with people because your body is in this self-preservation mode, like reserving energy. So you're not wasting effort. When you talk to people, you get straight to the point. Like usually you're like sugarcoating stuff. You're like, oh, how about this? No, you get directly to the point. It's much more efficient in a sense, and because of that. I think that also I've heard the same thing about, for example, um, deaf people. When they use the sign language, it doesn't express a lot of nuance that we have in our language, like things that we use to not to get to the point, but things that we use in addition, like to manipulate people or to express emotions or to add coloring to the stuff that you
Sarcasm.
talk about. Yeah, exactly. They're much more direct in their communication
Yeah,
because they can't, they don't have that many ways to express all these nuances, with
yeah.
their hands on.
So,
So that's interesting. So I think the same happened when I was fasting, and the same kind of happens when you're
ah,
trying to. If you try to have a
nice.
real conversation and play at the same time, you can't. So you get straight to the point.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm repairing my shit because it gets broken all the time, man.
Shit. Yeah, yeah. Damn, it gets broken mine too.
Because I'm fucking doing these question marks
Just be a
and.
millennial, man. Just buy a new one. Buy a new sword.
Hmm. Do you think maybe? Okay, let me ask you this. Um, what do you think are we getting are we getting wrong about the past the most? Like if we're playing this game, obviously it's a fantasy game, but we're kind of in this middle age world, right? And you know that we know about this world only from historical artifacts and books and stuff. But a lot of these books and textbooks and everything on history have been, well, they're basically written um, by whoever's next. And you know how history can be used to manipulate people, and how its interpretation is a big part of history. Because you show something, but then you show it not just as it is. Also, you don't know what is because you're not living in this time, right? So you need to provide some explanation, but the explanation spoils the information. It kind of taints it. It affects it. Um, so what do you think we get wrong the most
Uh,
about or about like really
what the fuck?
history really far back?
Um, about history, what do we get wrong? I think a lot of like the bad. I mean they always make this people like there's some gods and we have this how like this the reality I guess of it. It's usually much like a story. It always sounds like a story. It's never real. Like this pandemic now it's happening, but if it was a story history it will be like whatever something happened like oh World War II, whatever. You don't really
Yeah, man.
understand
You know what?
what's.
It's so funny. I was just watching a video before we did this, and it was one of the like Instagram lives of John Mayer, and he was talking about this was like a few years back when Charlie Manson died, and he was saying how people like when he died, it was like again he kind of got back into the news.
Yeah, the word I was looking for is romanticize.
Romanticize. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So he was talking about Charlie Manson and how he was like, if you look just at the media, it looks like it's almost like a rock star or something we're talking
Yeah.
about. We're talking about a murder, you know. And he says maybe it's about time. Maybe if something happens. So he gave this example. He says if now you read in the papers that in New York there's like a someone who chops people's heads off, you know, and decapitates people, and he just decapitated the 14th victim, you'd be like, what kind of monster is this? But if in I don't know 2085 someone writes a book about it or makes a movie about it, then it's cool. Then you're like, oh man, look at this. It's a great piece of art about this time in the past and how people were struggling with it. The same thing as
Yeah.
same thing as you told. I think distance, time wise, and it's so funny because also it's exactly measured not in just in any time, but in generations. I think maybe one generation or two is enough for us to start romanticizing it and for us to start thinking, you know what? Well, it's interesting. It's an interesting story, you know, and all of a sudden it becomes uh, abstract. It becomes distant from the fact. It becomes its own thing. Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's so funny that you mentioned this. I was just watching this video.
Uh, I mean, I don't know. It's you know, there's the details are too much everywhere. You can't really like what's the better way to do it. I mean, it's always when you read it.
I think it's part of the human condition. I mean, we're like this. We
No, I
we,
think
we only
it's
care.
yeah, but
Maybe we have a limited capacity for care. Maybe we only care if something affects us directly, and then if it's a little farther away, like the whole argument with kids starving in Africa and this sort of stuff. If it was next door, the closer it is to you, the more familiar it is, the more you care. The farther away it is, the less you care. Then you're like, yeah, whatever.
yeah,
It's
but
like
that's
let them.
problem I think of how information is passed. Like you just read it. It's just words. You have to imagine. Like everyone, maybe not everyone has the best imagination, so they can't really feel it the right way.
Yeah. And also, yeah, words can manipulate. Words can stain things, can give them some purpose that doesn't norm that is not there, or that's where yeah where we came from through the history. I think I think that's an interesting topic, like how we're kind of manipulating ourselves. Maybe we need this. Maybe we need this. We have this desire for a story in anything, so we look for it. I really firmly believe that like we're rational creatures, so we always have to rationalize everything, even if it makes no sense. We'll find sense because that's
Yeah,
part of our condition.
this what will happen now. Like right now, you see, no one knows what the fuck's happening. No one. Everyone is talking whatever. But like in 2 years, everyone will be like, oh, of course, like this is why this pandemic happened because this and this and this. This why this how it ended. It makes sense. But now
Right,
no one knows how what will happen.
right.
So
But
yeah,
do you
something
think
like
that
that. Yeah.
that meaning is there really, and we don't see it now, or do you think that
No,
that meaning is just
there
artificial?
are many meanings. Like there are many. Any of them will make sense in the end. We
I
just don't
see.
know now. But in the end, it will be. I don't know. They will make up
Yeah,
some
it's
story.
like remember when we're studying in school about like religion, for example, and how the people are telling us like you know religion has been used as a tool to manipulate the masses or to unite or whatever to form a country, and but when people are doing this, I doubt that they were conscious about it. I doubt that they
Yeah,
were like,
yeah. No,
but let's
no way.
how about we change this god just to influence the whatever. Like they
Yeah.
were not thinking of these terms.
Yeah, some guy wanted more money and that's how he got it. So,
I mean, even before like Scientology. I mean, like back in like whatever before pre-Christian times and when Christianity hit or whatever. Yeah, it's interesting. But it's also interesting how like we were talking about consciousness before and everything, and I think that's another aspect of it on our level, at the human level of consciousness, or if we continue the same analogy we used before, that we are conscious, but maybe more conscious than other creatures, animals are. Um, Maybe part of this consciousness is this ability to create stories out of anything. Stories in history, stories with games, stories in music. Uh, Everything has to have a beginning, then some conflict, then some resolution,
But
then
that's how you remember it is usually. Like that's how you remember it easier. It's like a compressing algorithm. What the fuck? What? Oh fuck. I just had to 3 times get the point for it to work. Like this place of power. Jesus. Anyway. But yeah, it's like we have a lot of memory mechanisms in our memory.
yeah.
That's. I mean, I read this book. Actually, I'm not sure if it was this one, but they mention a lot of these things. Like it was called Thinking Slow and Fast. And
Oh
but
yeah, I've heard about this, but I've never read it. But I know it's like a.
it's amazing. But the other one I read was Black Swan. That's that saved me from the economic crisis so far. About this, you know what's a black swan? Like, what's the meaning of it?
No.
It's like
I
this
mean,
event that changes everything, but no one saw it coming.
uh-huh.
I mean, they might say some might say, "Oh yeah, of course I saw it," but actually, n- ev- I mean, the general picture is no one saw it coming. Like this coronavirus is a black swan right now. No one is prepared for it. But now
Okay.
it makes much sense that it happened. Like the real estate crisis in 2008 was also black swan. Like these things that people just like, what the fuck happened? They lose their money.
Right.
And yeah, that's history. You can't really say what will happen, but when it happens, they always explain it. Like they have explanations from the real estate crisis why it happened. Makes sense, but no one expected it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's this thing. It's there was some term for it where the mind structures everything in stories. So you remember it easier. That's some evolutionary, probably some evolutionary mechanism. Maybe back in the day, maybe that's how you remembered where's the river and the water. Like you have to go to this rock, then to this tree, and oh, it's like a story or something.
Could be. Yeah. Could also be that we're malfunctioning this way. Like we have to connect things because our neural network is connected in such a way, and maybe it's like a bug, but the bug works in such a way that it manifests in a story, and that
Mm,
that that is part of everything we do. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a bug. Probably some side effect. Like, yeah, maybe. But it's not a bug
Yeah, I
because it's not bad actually. I
don't,
mean, it's not something bad.
right. I don't know, man. I mean, I was wondering
Sometimes it's bad.
sometimes.
I mean, the best thing is that you have to be aware of this and to recognize it, like
Yeah.
to not fall victim. But yeah,
Hmm. Wonder where to go now. I'm gonna go after questions, Mark. So I just go fucking exploring this world.
but it's so funny like this. You can even see it in the news right now with stocks is the easiest example. Like stocks go down and there is a story like, oh my god, Trump did this thing, so stocks went down because of it. Like whatever happens, like when stocks go
Yeah.
down, they look
You
for the
always
tops. They look
after
for
the
the
fact,
top
right?
story. Yeah, they look for the top story and say that's why it happened. Like this made it. That's the reason. But it's what the fuck, man. Actually, there was some weird case. I mean, it's always there's some cases like the stock went up, go up. They say okay, that's the reason. Then the same day they go down. They use the same reasoning for explaining that that's why they went down.
Yeah. That's also the same thing happens in every bad relationship. Something bad happens, you fuck up, and then the girl's like, "Well, I fucking knew it. It's because of your character and how you're a bad person from the beginning. I knew that."
It's because
And
of your father.
yeah, it's because of your father. It's because of this and that. It's like this is like this rationalizing afterwards. It's like oh, it's wet, then of course it was because it was raining, or the other way around. I don't
Yeah.
know. You can only make conclusions in the opposite direction. If you say, oh, it's raining, therefore it's gonna be wet, you can't say. I mean, you can, but you can fall victim to this kind of logic, but because if you don't examine it very carefully, you can
Yeah.
jump to the wrong conclusion.
You can see that in the stock market also. I mean, I can just talk about the stock market. I mean, because there are so many people. Like the volume of people is so much. But of course, someone will make money. That's math. Of course, someone will make money, and of course, these people will say, "Yeah, of course, I knew what will happen." Like, I mean, I follow the science. But no, you just were lucky. That's
Mm.
actually the yeah. When can you fall victim to that? Because actually, you can uh, when people read these success story books like by any guy, no, like
Yeah,
like because
yeah.
he says that's how I did it.
That's how I did it. Therefore, that's how everyone should do
Yeah,
it, which is not true.
yeah, it's never true.
Which is not the one doesn't mean the other.
It's
You could have made it, but that
I
doesn't make it a
haven't
rule.
ever I don't know I haven't ever seen anyone having any benefit from these books because no one who wrote such a book has read such a book. They just did what they loved and things worked out. They
Well,
didn't
I
they
think the problem is that people can't really get the message out of them. The message is abstract. So they're giving an example, right? The people are saying, "I did this and it worked and got me here." But people are not reading that. They're reading, "If I do exactly what he says, that's
yeah
what
yeah
will
yeah
happen." But they should get the message like, if you follow the logic of what he did, maybe you'll get there. Or maybe even in that case you won't get there. But
I don't
people are just they
I think it's a bit of a paradox. Like, if you need someone to tell you what to do, like, is this what you need to start doing it? So you don't really want to do it, but someone has to tell you, like, you have to do it because blah blah blah. You have to love something. So it's a bit
yeah.
weird. Like, I mean, in my case, like if I want to play guitar, I will play guitar because I want to play guitar. I don't need someone to tell me, like, like Slash to tell me I play it 8 hours a day. So that's how you have to do it.
Hmm.
And this will help me apparently. And I don't know. Like he just
Well,
played.
yeah, my biggest problem with these self-help books is again how they can be manipulated, or let's say how they can be. Well, they're they're an industry of their own. Like there's people who make money out of writing books about writing books, and if you make the effort to find who that person is and what they've actually written, you find out that they've written nothing else but how to write books. you know
Yeah.
and you buy it without even checking, without even double checking, what the credits of this person are. And you're like, What?" And people buy it, and these books are bestsellers, and they're like, "Well, see, I know, I can teach you now because I've done it."
Yeah, it's
So
with
so
this
it's really
marketing. Like they put a lot of money into marketing, and that was their
yeah,
investment,
yeah.
and it paid off in the
It
end.
is a paradox for sure, and it's bad. It's now this with social media and everything, all the clickbaiting, it's all that. Um, and I wonder if these things have always been around. If you go back to the Witcher times, if there's been marketing, it just wasn't cold marketing, or is it that we've become so fucked up after a while that we've come up with some shit like this? Has it been always around, always part of our nature in some way, or is it just now that we're so tired and exhausted with we can't come
I
up with
think
anything
it's
else?
it's now, because that's also goes back to this Black Swan book. Because the thing is, the more cases you have, the more these outliers you have. Like now you see the biggest success everywhere. Otherwise, you will be in your village, like your small community. But now you have the world best in front of you, and they tell you this is how I did it. But first, you don't need that. Second, you probably won't get it because only one guy did it in the whole world. so,
Right.
so it's much worse. Like it's amplified now with this internet and overexposure. Before, maybe that's why they had legends before. Like some guy said about some guy, but just some legend. It's not maybe I don't know. Like Elon Musk would be a legend. in that time. Maybe it wouldn't be assumed as something very real, you know.
Yeah. I was thinking about this, and I wonder what is your thought about this. I was thinking all of these professions, all these stupid careers that people are fucking proud of their careers, in something that didn't exist 10 years ago now is a career. That don't yeah, I don't even know what it means, but people are like, that's a career, man. And what would these people do 100 years ago? What would these people do 1,000 years ago? And I think a lot of them would do shit, would do nothing, would suck at life. They would like have a horde of have a flock of sheep and fuck some of the hotter sheep on some rainy day. I really believe that, and because there are some jobs, that if you're a musician and you go back to the Witcher time, you would be a musician. If you're a writer and you go back to the Witcher time, you would be a writer, right? But if you're a fucking marketing expert, and if what you're saying is true, that this is a new thing, and no part of this has been expressed in our nature before, then you know what? Guess what? I got news for you. You'd be fucking sheep right now. That's how good you are. Just the opportunity now exists. So don't be so wound up and so up your ass that you think that this is something special that you're doing, because it's not. And the problem I have with this is that there are jobs, and people have the jobs to convince people, to try to convince people that what they do is particularly special. Like they try to convince you.
Okay, the connection is dying again. God damn it. Do you hear me?
I hear you. Do you hear me?
Yeah, now yeah, but it was
All
bad.
right. Let's see how it goes.
No.
But my point is, there are people who they're ex. You remember how? Oh, I don't remember. I don't even remember. But what I meant to say, like early on, when marketing was born, some of the early hits of marketing were basically psychologists that were employed by different companies to try to sell stuff. Like, there are some cases that we've studied in university. Like there was this case with how they were advertising cigarettes, and the way they made women smoke cigarettes, because this was such an incredible thing and a mind blowing in the 50s for a woman to smoke. But that attracted, that like, the cigarettes, because once they saw that it's okay for a woman to smoke, so they use like psychological triggers, and they try to fucking trick people psychologically. And uh, that being the background of where this is all coming from, now we have industries where people are trained to train people into falling in love with something that is definitely not worth, in my opinion, falling in love. Like, for example, you join a company, they tell you you got to be excited. Day one, you got to be like 100% energy, man. You got to love this product, this service, this group of people that you've never met before. Like a week ago, you didn't know about them. You applied to 50 jobs, and you kind of did your research, but you got one of them, and whatever it feels like the best option. And you get there, and they're telling you, man, this is it. We got our code of conduct, our culture. Look at this, it's amazing. Look, we have the best culture, and all of this is just a poor imitation of human activity. Where, like, for example, if we're friends and we go out and we drink and we have fun and we play games or whatever, then they say, let's do this in the company. So let's put these people together in a room where they get drunk and then they play games, because this is how human interactions work normally. So they kind of
What I mean, what I mean normally, like we normally play games.
no, I mean some
Oh
sort of
fuck.
game, some sort of activity that you do with friends, right? There's some sort of activity. So they say,
Ah.
let's imitate this activity. So let's put a budget on this team. So they have this much money for this activity, so that we kind of force them psychologically, we brainwash them into believing that they're friends. But what happens the next day is the company changes, whatever, the economy changes. Someone is not happy with you. I don't know. Someone sucked someone's dick. Something stupid happened. They fire you, and then the next day they replace you. And all of a sudden, these people that were supposed to be your friends, you're replaceable. Guess what? No one cares
Yeah.
about you. No one cares anymore. So why do we have to pretend, if if the next day this bubble bursts and we all kind of play this, we're like in a theater. It's like a ritual. It's no less ritualistic than going to church. Think about it. When in church you have, they have these rituals. Okay, we raise the jug, and now we do this, and then we do this, and now we repeat this 5 times, and then we repeat this 3 times. It's the same in companies. It's all this fucking ritual, which is fake. Because in a church, for example, it's an abstract. It's some sort of form of explaining something, but it's much further away from what it represents. In the company, it's a direct imitation, like it's stealing from normal human relationships, masking them in this other form, and everyone agrees together to play this game and to pretend. Everyone together agrees to pretend, and it's so sad. It's really 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 sad. And I've always been, me, like in all the companies I've been in, I've always been like this kind of like troublemaker. I don't know, I wouldn't say troublemaker. Like I've been like
Rebel.
this kind of guy that's like the outsider kind of guy. And I've always been like,
Rebel.
yeah, the rebel, the kind of alternative, but not on purpose. It hasn't been my purpose to challenge people. It's been my purpose to make them interested in the alternative. To say what's wrong with being honest for a change? What's wrong with having your own identity that's outside of this work? What's wrong with being at work and talking about, I don't know, in your break, talking about something that's not work, but not something to suck someone's dick, but to really express some honest opinion. And people don't do it. It's bizarre, man. It's so weird. Imagine going out with your friends and being like this, being fake. I mean,
Well,
there's always some
people
amount of
do it.
fake. Yeah, there's always some amount of, let's say, adjusting towards a group that you're with, because you don't want to hurt everyone's feelings, right? So you know that this person, for example, doesn't like to talk about this. So when you're with these friends, you do everything besides talking about this one subject, because you respect your friend, but you're not expected to be doing this overwhelmingly. And then if someone is listening to this and disagrees with me and says, "Well, Bogey, what about if people really love this?" Well, then I'm really sorry for these people, because how can you love something that someone else's brainchild, someone else came up with this one idea that's basically feeding
But
off of another
but
idea that's from
that's,
another.
I mean, that we love like other stuff that are, oh goddamn, this fucking like we love books, music, and it's other people's ideas, right? In a way.
True. Oh yeah, true.
So
But well, that's true. But the things that we really love to do are more our own. We kind of own them more than these things that you mentioned now, books and stuff. We admire them for a moment, for a second, but you don't like spend 8 hours a day ritualistically admiring them. Like you're in the office. You spend a moment, you read the book, you talk about it, and then you move to the next one, and maybe it inspires you to do something of your own that's in that field that you really really love, but not more than that. I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean,
uh,
I'm just saying.
yeah, of course, a lot of people live this. I mean, that's a deeper. I'm not sure if the problem is exactly. Wait, I'm finding this fucking. Uh,
God damn it, man. I mean, I have a problem with choosing the best armor, because I look. You know what I look at? The price, how
the
much it costs
price.
to
Ah,
buy
what? What
stuff.
do you mean? You look at the armor, like the
Yeah,
armor
but if
amount.
yeah, but there's some things that are up, but some things are kind of like, and I can't decide, so I look at the
Ah,
price, and so I have this one
well, I
that,
think armor
and
is
also I'm not sure.
important, like the armor number, like it's one of them.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
then you have all the other effects of it, right?
Yeah, that's more like bonuses probably. I mean,
Okay, can I show you something, and then you tell me which one should I choose? Can you
sure.
help me out?
Yeah.
All right, so check this out. So on one hand, this armor.
Uh, a bit back. A bit back. It's not focusing. Okay. Let me. All right. Yeah. And the
And
other
on the
one?
other hand, I have the one that I'm wearing at the
Actually, it shows
moment,
you
which is this one.
the differences. Uh,
Which one is better, the first one or the second?
I forgot the percentage of the first. This looks better actually. I'm not sure how.
This is the
It's. But this is heavy. The other one was what?
this is the first one that I showed earlier.
I think yours. better, I think.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
yours
so.
is better,
All right.
but I'm not sure how armor works in this game,
And it's
but I
also it's
assume
more
it's.
expensive. So like I look at the price, and when it's more
Mm.
expensive, then
Yeah, but the prices, they just calculated it in some way. It probably doesn't relate to.
and the other thing I don't know like what the level like this one says, like some of them have a name. Like this one is Eternal Fire Executioner armor, but sometimes they're like magic or they're relic or they're something,
The thing
right?
is, you should know what's giving you more damage, like what's killing you mostly.
Ah,
You should look for resistances in that if that's
uh-huh.
your problem. It's more
See,
to
like
playstyle too.
you're smarter than me when it comes to this.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, if you're really having hard time to decide, it probably doesn't matter, in the end.
Right.
Like whatever.
Yeah. Oh man, can you help me out? I got this first level armor versus this 30 level. Which one?
No, I mean that's easy. I mean, if it's hard to decide. Jesus, how do I? Fuck this. But yeah, the thing is this. I think it mentioned many things. It's like a complex. First, the group thing. It's like this group archetype we have in our genes, right, from before. Like people always wanted to identify with groups, and they wanted to be part of something. No one
Yes.
wants to be alone.
But
So
should you do
you
it
can see
just for
that
the
in.
purpose of doing that, or shouldn't it
No, no,
be?
but think about not just companies, but like football games, anything like
Sure.
taste, Reddit, uh, boards. People
Yes.
unite over anything like opinions, politics.
Yeah.
They might not actually have their own opinion, like, but they want to be part of this group in their neighborhood, you know.
Right.
So, I mean, what can you do? Otherwise, the thing is, if it makes you
Yeah,
feel
but
good.
also I can switch it up. I can mirror this and I can blast it in your face this argument by saying, knowing about this, people in companies create groups to
Yeah,
abuse that principle.
yeah,
So you see, so it's not a good thing. It could be a bad thing. As a matter of fact, a lot of companies are
yeah, yeah. I'm
shit.
not saying it's
You
good. I'm
keep
saying
wonderful
it's.
people because these wonderful people are together in a team and they feel really connected and they're like, we are together in this shit, but we have to stay together because we love each other so much. So like in a sense they're full victim to this whole thing.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just people. Uh, I mean, they abuse this in all of places. Like even in politics, everywhere, in churches, it's everywhere.
Right.
Just people are retards, and that's what it is everywhere. Like, what can you do? It's fuck. But I'm not sure. But yeah, the thing is like if yeah, the question is if what should you do if you want to be like real and true? And
Yeah.
I would say you can't change this. I mean, like corporations, they're just stable ecosystems. You can't. That's how they work.
Yeah,
That's
well,
why they're
I'm
big.
not saying make a revolution that will change that. I'm saying pick wisely. I'm saying more than anything, be aware of that at least,
Oh, yeah.
so that you're not fooled by this. Because at least if you were because there is a very big amount of people they don't ever question that. They're like, yeah, man, it works. And then these people suffer the most because when they get fired, when these people realize that it's all a joke, that it's all a pretend game, then these are the ones who get hurt because they're like, oh man, I thought we were real friends. Well, guess what? You know what I mean? So at least realize what's going on. And people are abusing this. They're abusing the good heart of people. That's what's being used, and only for money. That's my other problem. I always maybe that's wrong. Maybe I shouldn't be thinking in those terms. But I always question any endeavor of any form, companies, any sort of activity that you do, by first examining what is the motivation behind it. And with any company, the motivation is always money, always, even if not in the beginning, even if not whatever by the founder or by one person, if by the moment that you call it a company, it exists in this ecosystem, in this industry, it already is its own thing, and it thinks
Yeah.
about the money. Otherwise it wouldn't exist, right? So because of that, when money is the motivation, then it always becomes, I believe, just how do you say, uh, well, evil. You know, it becomes abusive. It has the potential to just inflict suffering.
Uh,
And in that sense, I don't
but
know.
the thing
I don't. I'm
is,
not saying listen, just do charity work. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying, again, just know about this. Just know that this shit exists.
yeah, but still, it's not only bad, you know. Like some people, they raise their families, they get promoted, they go to vacations, and are really happy, you know. Like they don't think too much, and they're happy. I mean, which
Yeah.
is it bad? I don't know.
I think that's a very good question actually. We've been talking about this, but all the things you said now, going to vacations, raising family, all these things you can do regardless of what you do. But then the question is, um, how many compromises should you do in order to get these things, to get better vacations, to get better things for your family? Because if we follow this line, you can be like, I just watched the new season of Ozarks. You can be, in the money laundering business. You can be laundering money for the cartel, and then you get the real nice vacations, and then your family extends because now you're part of the cartel, man. Once you join these things, this is so funny, right? Because all these crime syndicates and all these organizations, it's all about family there because family is ultimately the biggest group construct. Nothing beats family, right? Because family is for life. You can choose your friends, you can divorce your wife, but you can fucking abandon your kids. You can go and legally kill them with an abortion. But family, man, family is for life. Doesn't matter what good or bad it's there. You know what I mean? And you're the bad one if you abandon them. Like, the stereotype is you leave someone even if they're mentally ill or whatever, you're the bad person, right? So that's why they use it, and criminals use it, and the companies always use it too. I mean, they call them, they say we have a nice family or we have a nice, they use the same terminology. They try to make it like that too, which is sinister. It really is, uh, because it's not. You know, and I really think we should. So I think the solution to that would be, first of all, discover a nice kind of meaningful pursuit, and then think about the family vacations and everything. Because if you first get the family vacation and the family going and everything, and you still don't know what the fuck you're doing in life, and you're just looking for something to give you money to go on vacations, then you're gonna have this unscrupulous life, and you're just gonna go job to job and just looking
Okay,
for the
but
money and pretending to be friends with everyone and sucking dick and
do you
left and
know?
right.
But you probably know people that they just don't have any purpose. Like, can you imagine? There are people that I can't imagine. They just don't want to do anything. They work and they want to watch Netflix when they're home. Like they there's nothing there. They're like
Yeah.
30 years. Like,
I know. And I feel for those people the most,
but
because
they're
those are the
happy.
ones who
Like,
get
you
really
know.
fucked the most in this situation. They're the ones who really get like because since they have nothing else going, they're really involved in this game and they pretend the hardest. And they're like, yeah, yeah, we're really friends,
But
man.
it's
We're
not. I wouldn't say it's pretend because there's no real version of this for them. You know, it's
right.
like,
Yeah.
what does even pretend mean?
So what is the solution for these people?
I would say not. I mean, they're happy with this. They just that's what they want to do. They want to work and don't let someone else do the
Yeah.
thinking. They just do whatever it's required of them.
Right.
They wait for the vacation, wait for Friday, whatever, you know. But I don't know. I mean, because so you need these people who will do the boring
Do you
work.
do you really need them, people? I mean, do you need them to have an iPhone? But then again, do you need an iPhone? Like, at which point do you draw the line? That's very important. I mean, obviously, yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, you always need people. You need the number of people, but I think if we have to be really idealistic, you need just people, right? So, and you can hope that all of them are really smart and thoughtful and all have a nice purpose, right? Or are you saying maybe not? Maybe that we need really kind of these
But
blind followers because otherwise everyone will want to be a leader or will want to be a I don't know, a hero.
Yeah, like what do you mean purpose? Like what how do you value purpose? You
How
know?
do you how do you measure, you mean?
I mean, yeah,
Or
that's the same. Like if you value two, you can measure them. Like I
um
mean, how do you attach a value? That's what I meant.
right, right. Hmm. Well, if it's something, at least if well, if you're aware of what's going on and it has a productive, a meaningful result that affects the community around you, that's how you that's how you measure it, you know. But if you're just blindly doing it for the money to go on vacation with your wife and buy her a new dildo, I don't know.
Yeah, but maybe that's what you want. Like I don't know. Hmm.
I've been thinking about this actually. These people that are kind of like, this is like the majority of people who are just going to work every day and then just get wasted once a week, and then once every 3 months they go on a vacation and they get wasted on the vacation, and they just lie on a beach somewhere and they take selfies, and I think that's amazing, and that's the most meaningful thing in their lives. I think that there's people don't value shit, and um, I think a lot of these things are privilege, or should be at least. You should be privileged to be able to go to beautiful places and lay out on the beach if you really like. I don't know, you fucking build a pyramid and defeated a dragon, you know? But all these fucking folks, they go there and they're delusional, I think. They're living this delusion, and the companies and whatever, the economy values them, and they say, well, your work is valuable, so you get all this money even though you're an idiot and you don't have a higher purpose in your life. That doesn't matter. Because you see, that's the problem with this. You have read, I think you've read the Foundation, right? At least some of the Foundation by
Yeah, the first one, but fucking hell.
I think it was there. I think at some point with like the merchants of something. It was like the merchants were mentioned. That he starts playing with this idea of companies of being like running people, large amounts of people, just like we have now. We've had countries, we have tribes, right? We've had tribes for a while. Then we've had countries. Then we've had the church kind of competing with the country, almost wondering which one is more important at some point, like in the Witcher times, right? Thinking, wait a second, which one is actually on top, you know? And then ever since we've had different forms of countries, but now more recently we have big corporations where we have Apple and Google and these corporations that make more money than some countries do, and they have the same kind of influence because they can pollute, they can uh, I don't know, they can employ large amounts of people. They create this corporate culture that you follow, like almost like when you're a member of a country, you have a nationality, right? And nationality is a identity, right? So being a part of this company, you have this identity, like you're part of this company and you're competing against all other companies, right? Even though it's like no one dies, but it could be leading to that, right? Because there is a competition, right, for resources, for everything, and I think because of that, and coming back to the beginning when I said that as soon as you have a company, the driving force is money, then you end up with this situation where you have. I'm not saying that the country is better, by the way, but I'm saying that you have companies whose only goal is to make more money. And these companies provide the biggest source of identity to people nowadays. They provide everything. Like your whole lifestyle is around a company. For these people, or revolving around that idea. Like they employ me, they put food on my table, they put the dildo up my wife's pussy. They put everything. They get us to this vacation. They get us everything. So I pray to this company. I live in this company's culture. That's it. That's everything for me. And that's fucking sad. It's very sad.
Uh,
I,
yeah, but I mean, I don't know. The thing is, I don't think there's this utopia where everyone has a purpose. I think you always get to this point where a lot of people just have
right,
to be this in some way or another.
right. But maybe at least you can hope for.
Because
I
during
mean,
every time period, like for the last 10,000 or whatever years, I'm not sure. I mean, what's the version in Hunters, but there is always these people that have this life. Uh, what about with tribes and when they're like 20 people. Maybe that was the best time. You know, everyone was shooting some rabbits and bringing them home.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with in those days it was like survival, you know, so people didn't have much time to think about very abstract things, maybe. Or maybe not. Or maybe their thoughts were the same as ours and
Thing is, everything they did,
just
it had some direct value. Like
yes,
they shoot some deer and they eat it. They don't exchange it for I don't know. Like there is no disevil anywhere. Like
right.
it's the value is direct. It's food. It's nutrition. You know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they weren't aware of Italy and the Colosseum there to go to on a vacation. I don't know.
Yeah. And also, don't you think that a lot of these things are kind of also tools that can be used to manipulate people? Like they, society tells you, you know, it's good if you go on this vacation, right? Um, they tell you, look, you got vacation, right? You got 20 years. Oh shit, I'm almost dying. Oh fuck, 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 fuck. I walked into some gas,
Oh yeah.
poisonous gas.
You know what to do with that?
Almost died. There
You
is this
know.
potion, I think, but
No, you can
what?
also fire them up. Like
With the fire, with the E?
yeah, it explodes. But you have to be like a bit far away, otherwise you
Ah,
will
those are the
explode.
mushrooms, me.
Yeah, the yeah. No, the
Oh, I
Igni.
didn't know.
Yeah, the Igni.
Yeah, I mean, like
God
the
damn it!
companies also
I did all the question marks. Now I have to do quests and not listen. God damn it. Okay,
the
I'll
you
try
know
to not.
the what I was saying. The companies they give you like they tell you, listen, you got now like whatever 20 days a year of vacation. You better take it because this is how you're gonna be happy. You know, like
Mm.
who decided that that's the amount of time?
I mean,
You
who
know,
decided
like
it's 8 hours per day? That's the biggest problem. You know.
right. Who decided any of this? You know, who decides for you and tells you, you know, that's it. Like do it or get the fuck out of here. And if you do it, it's good. If you don't do it, you suck. Like
You
fuck
know
you.
what?
You
So
know.
much time
What's
is
going on?
wasted when you think about it. Like I always wondered, what the fuck is up with, for example, banks or, I mean, let's say banks. Like they're empty all day. Then when everyone finishes work at 5, they're full of queues and people go there to do something.
Right.
Because otherwise they don't work and they can't do anything there. So everyone, it's just empty. I mean, a lot of places are like this. Just because everyone works, but they're there to for people to visit, but people don't visit because they work. And then there are these queues for 1 hour at the end of the day. Like I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, for sure. I mean,
And
people
that's a lot of
don't.
wasted time. They can just work for 2 hours, morning and after. I mean, when people go, but they don't.
And it's yeah, it's part of
And
competition. There's
actually,
a lot of this.
banks are even worse because they usually work until 5, and people want to go like at 6, 7 after they finish work,
Yeah.
so they don't work during that time. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they do a lot of stuff when people are not there too. I mean, but
Really?
yeah, I mean, there's like I don't know, man.
Do they?
I don't know. I don't know why. Who like I'm fucking sick and tired of society and its constructs and its stupid fucking rules. And I want to be like, what about this, man? What about back in the day? I mean, besides The Witcher, you probably, I don't know, maybe you haven't, but maybe you've read like books about the medieval times and how people used to do shit back then. You know, like someone tells some shit, like they throw a fucking glove in your face and you say, how about we walk out and you kill the fucking person or you die right there? Whatever happened to this? Whatever happened to someone says, you know, hey, why did you come 5 minutes late to work? And you say, how about we walk outside and we decide, you know, right now it's
Yeah.
decide who's right. What the fuck happened to this? Like now they take this right away from you. They say, no, no, no. Actually, people do so much mean shit to each other, so much mean ass fucking shit because they can get away with it. Instead of just saying, you know what, let's fucking walk, let's sharpen your knife, let's fucking solve this.
Hmm.
Don't you think like if we could kill people like that, maybe we would be much nicer to each other. Because then you can't do much many other bullshit. Like I just fucking kill you, man.
I'm
So
not
shut the fuck.
sure. I'm not sure that's the perfect way, but
Like I'm sick and
it's
tired of this. I
something.
want to fucking kill some people, you know? Like just to be
Cool.
alive, you know.
Just tell their names.
You know, I've never killed a person. Maybe it's my thing and I don't even know about it because society is telling me not to, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You should be a murderer, not a corporate slave.
No, I know for a fact that, like, for example, there's some things I've never done. I've never been in a fight, you know. I've never, and I think there is something meaningful to
Oh,
learn
nice.
from it.
I was in a fight.
Yeah, what happened? What was the experience like?
It was amazing. Like the guy wanted to fight me, and he caught me. I mean, that was like fourth grade.
Oh
he
shit.
like caught me from behind, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" I mean, because I was surprised, and I just turned around to see what the fuck is happening, and I somehow hit him in the face with my elbow. I'm not sure how,
What?
and yeah, and his some tooth. I basically broke some tooth. I mean, it came out.
Fuck. You
What?
broke
And
his.
he and I mean, it came out like from my accidental turning. It was like what the fuck, and then apparently that tooth was making him a lot of trouble lately. Like it was hurting him. I was like, thanks, man. It was all great afterwards.
Jesus.
That was my fight experience.
Well, I've never been this because you know, like I'm a bigger guy, and I guess, and I've never been very social. Never been in like situations where I can get into a fight, and always I've been kind of funny. So, and I was bullied before, and that's how I developed my sense of humor. Like always, my way out was like being funny, you know. But anyway, my point is like I know I think this is my theory, but again, like no experience to back it up. But I think that um, if you are like fighting, for example, if you're doing martial arts, you learn about the human experience more from that intimacy that you have when you fight someone and you see how you can damage them, like you see your own power and how you can inflict pain on others. You value that pain more, and you're in control of it, and you don't just fucking deliver it any moment. And I think that I mean, of course, a lot of people go into martial arts because they have aggression problems and they want to deal with it that way. But overall, the good fighters, like the people, anyone who's been doing some form of martial arts for a little longer and gotten to a better level at it, those are people that you can feel the safest around because those are people that don't get into a fight because they know the consequences of a fight. So they only do it in like the most extreme cases where there's no other way. So, but normally people don't appreciate it, and just like you just turn around by accident, you hit someone, you cause them pain by accident because you don't have control over this power because you've never explored it. You've never played in a safe way with this power you have. And I think if I were only able to kill people, then I would then I would finally be able to do it when it's right, and only kill people when they totally deserve it. And oh, how about this? Tell me this. How is it that we play these games and we have these people like The Witcher murdering people, like constantly murdering people, and we have comic book heroes where they murder people constantly and they have the right to do it, like moral right to do it, and we admire the right to take a human's life, yet we live in a society where maybe for the first time ever since we've been humans, it's not okay to kill people. Like it's always been okay, but now it's not. Like even up to maybe I don't know 150 years ago, it was sort of okay. Like you could kill someone and get away with it. Like you can, yeah, whatever. And now you it's gotta be like really, really, really well, uh, like there has to be a real fucking reason. Otherwise, whatever. I mean, I'm sure that still people get away with it, but like people in power, obviously, and people with money. If you have money, you can get away with anything, like real money. But especially in some countries like the States, where the system is so fucked, so fucking flawed, like the legal system that you can get away with anything if you have money. It's just anything, you know. You buy yourself out. You lose some of the money on the way out, but that's it. And I think, yeah, I think we should start killing people. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. Kids, listen, I don't make you do it. I'm just talking about myself. There's no inciting for aggression. But I think, you know what? If it was only, I think we should re examine this subject as a society. And and also not just have a system like a legal system that tells you when is okay to kill people. I don't give a fuck about a judge who's never had done anything in his life telling me, when it's right or wrong. And there has to be a system where everyone can kind of experiment with on their own. And if anyone can kill
Yeah,
anyone
but
at any
how
point,
can anyone that gets killed experiment?
right? Well, that's the game, man. Don't hate
No,
the game. Don't hate the player, baby. Hate the game.
no, you have to always.
But I think
I don't know.
obviously I'm kidding. I'm kind of exploring different dimensions with my mind, but I think there's
Fuck, so
it's
many
like the
dialogues. God damn it, this game, man. Just tell me what to do. Fuck, I didn't read anything. There were like millions of words. Jesus.
yeah. I think it's like the Purge. Remember the Purge? Uh, there. Wait, I'm also reading now. I'm trying to find the right
God
potion
damn
to
it,
use.
so much. Fuck. It was 15 minutes of. I was just clicking space and it was so long. Damn. But anyway, the thing.
Um, so yeah, let me just finish. So I was trying to say that. Um, okay, hiding the water lags layer and wait. Okay, so I was gonna say that. Fuck, this game is so distracting.
I know.
Fucking kill. I was trying to say that like the
We're
Purge.
just
The
trying to
reason
have a
why the
talk
movie,
here. Game.
yeah, the reason that the Purge is so attractive, like the idea of the Purge, and they've made like 50 sequels already of this movie, is that there if there is a system that everyone can do something, even if it's wrong, that everyone can do it, then you have this kind of secret hope, maybe even belief that humans will self-regulate, like the market. If anyone can kill, then we wouldn't have maybe more murders than now, maybe even less, because a bunch of people will immediately kill it, like people that have problems with each other, they'll just kill it. Like if they make murder legal tomorrow, then a bunch of people will die very fast, and then things will stabilize, and people will be really careful with what they do, and maybe live a better fucking life and be more honest and not fuck around and lie with cheat and fucking try to scam you and fucking steal your soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you have to know. I mean, like, not assume even, but just realize that most people are retarded. They won't make the right decisions. It's more likely that good people will get fucked up because of this than I don't know.
I don't. Well, some will for sure, but
No, no,
think
I mean
about
in
it this way.
general, not some.
I don't think that in general maybe it will happen, because I'll tell you why. Because I think something like life is not just about intelligence. There is some instinct to it, like animals, for example. Animals don't just go on a rampage, like randomly killing each other, right? They can, like some animals have no self-defense, and other, like they're maybe running fast or some very basic shit. Other animals, they're like killing machines, but they don't go around killing randomly, and they're not intelligent, they're not conscious. They spare it, right? They do it when it's absolutely necessary. It's survival. So I think in that sense, people will get default to that state. They'll be like, it wouldn't be about intelligence. I mean, there would be for sure ways to abuse that, right? If it was legal, but and it might be like some fucking chaos or whatever. And
Yeah.
and maybe that's the reason like to not do it now, because someone might like take power by force. And but maybe not. Maybe it gets to a place of, I don't know, because like why would you listen to someone trying to organize something like this where you can kill that person, where everyone
Okay,
can kill
so
everyone,
but the thing is, it was like
everyone is equal.
it was like that back in the day, right? You know,
Yeah,
and nothing
yeah.
changed for so long, so many years. Like there was no
Right.
progress. They were
Right.
just killing
So
each other.
why did we change it? I think we shouldn't. I think we can keep everything as it is, but just allow everyone to kill each other for free.
I mean, it depends what's your end goal. Like what's
Uh, Happiness. I mean, less bullshit, less lies. I think that's the end goal.
but that's maybe I wouldn't assume that will make more happiness, you know. If I mean if by
You know the
you
idea,
fix
you know the
less
idea of the purge. right? You've seen the movie, or you've heard about it, or you watched the that episode of Rick and Morty where they do that.
What? The what?
The Purge.
Burgers.
Purge. Purge.
Ah, what is this? I'm not sure what this.
Well, it's a movie. It's a horror movie. They did a like their take on it on Rick and Morty. It's the idea of like there's this society in the future. Well, it's in the States anyway, where they like in the near future they allow because of like high crime rates and whatever, they allow one day in the year, one single day,
Oh
for you
yeah, I
to get away
remember
with
this. Yeah.
any fucking crime, any crime. You can rape, you can kill, you can do whatever. So of course the rich people survive because they build these castles basically to protect themselves. Poor people they attack each other, whatever. So like people who are aggressive, who are poor, they kind of die off. And in the movie, it's like made in a way that suggests that this would just benefit the rich, and the poor would kind of suffer even more until there's like a revolt of some sorts
Makes
that
sense.
is against. Yeah, and that's what happened in the Rick and Morty episode where like they attacked like these rich people that when the purge was happening they were like all celebrating and like look at these guys um, but it's an interesting idea. I don't know. What do you think would happen if it really happened? Do you think that like only the poor will suffer and the rich will kind of benefit or?
Uh, thing is, yeah, it's this idea is distorted from capitalism right now because this idea is not very pure if you do it now, you know. Because yeah, exactly because these people with money they'll protect better, which doesn't mean they should be better protected,
Right.
but they'll.
Yeah, I guess the idea of the legal system, I think, is just it's an extension. I mean,
But
any legal
this,
system, the European and the American is an extension of the Bible, really nowadays. But I mean, not nowadays, but originally, because it's all built on the premise of protecting the weak, right? So in that sense, that's why you know murder is illegal because I don't know because it's the idea is that everyone should be equal and equal to the weakest point, in terms of rights.
but uh, thing is, you wanna remove lies, but how will this remove lies? It might create even more lies. You might
How
need.
so? How do you think it will create lies?
I mean lies, not lives. Maybe I mean in some way it might create some lies.
Like
Someone
the
might.
sort of lies like, hey, come over here. I got some lies for you. Come over here, and then you you stab him. That
No,
sounds like lies.
it might in the end come to this thing now. Like people will create these cults and
Yeah.
groups.
By the way, this is exactly what happened at the end of the episode with Rick and Morty, right? Because Rick and Morty go to this planet where they have the purge, and Rick is like, "Come on, we're gonna go watch the purge. It's so cool." And then their ship breaks down, so they have to take part in the purge, and they take part of the purge, and then they're like, "Well, since we're here, how about we help them realize that this is stupid anyway, and we resolve it, and we solve the purge." And they basically remove the purge. They show them, hey guys, this was a scam by the rich, and you were kind of abused and blah blah blah. And they're like, oh, thanks. So what do we do now? How do we solve our? I don't know. And how about we do this? I don't know. How about this? And then at the end, they reach the same conclusion. They're like, you know what? It would be best probably to have the purge. And then at the end, it was like, they create a new purge at the end. As Rick and Morty are leaving, they decide, it's chaos. We can't just fight each other. We gotta do this one day in the year. But it's like they reached the
Yeah, yeah,
same
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
It was fun.
But I don't like this idea. I don't think that's the way to fix things. I think this
Yeah.
the virus right now is very nice thing that's happening. It will fix a lot of these things, at least
How
short
dare
term.
you? How dare you say that?
What?
How dare you? People will be triggered by what you're saying.
What do you mean?
Yeah. You're saying the virus is good.
In the end, I think yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's weird. Like people losing jobs and this thing, it's weird. Apparently, we have resources because everyone survived until 4 weeks ago. So suddenly, where does this money go? Who got it? Like it has to go somewhere. So we
Right.
just have to figure out a way to, I don't know, like where is the money? Who got it? Maybe somehow like that's what the USA is doing. Like they're printing or whatever the fuck they're doing. I think they're printing money. But that's a way to kind of uh, to even things up in a way. Because the more
Yeah.
money you print and give to the poor, the less value it has. But it gets distributed. I mean, I'm not sure about the consequences like afterwards, but I don't know. I mean, the USA is doing something that might be good maybe for everyone. That's what they've always done. They always fucked everyone over, like everyone except USA.
Right.
But I don't know. No,
Yeah.
what I meant more was people appreciating stuff, like realizing what's this stupid dumb shit that they don't really need.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's the problem that some people get they don't get the point. I think what I think is the worst possibility, the worst possible outcome of this is if this ends tomorrow, and whoever died or whatever, we all feel sorry, everything is sad and
I
everyone
lost
is
my
remembering.
items. How did this happen? The fuck is wrong with this game? I just
What
teleported with no items.
the
What?
hell? Maybe it was part of the quest. Sometimes in the quest they take it for some reason or
No,
some
no, no, no,
some
no, no, no.
like.
I'm no quest. I just, look, I just had them. What happens? Wait, that's weird. I
Are they back in your? Maybe they're back in your. What, fucking thing. What do you? In your inventory, just unequipped.
if I'll just try loading or something. Fuck this.
But yeah, I think what I was saying is
Maybe if I was reading, I would know what happened.
yeah. I started saying that I think the worst possible outcome is if this ends tomorrow and we count our losses and everything, and then no one has learned anything from this. No one, and everything goes back to life, and they're in life just like before, and no one
I don't
learned
think
the
this is an
message.
option. I don't think that's realistic. Like,
A lot of people, I think that there's a lot of people now like crying and tearing their heads off, and as soon as everything is back, they won't learn from it. They'll still do this everything the same way they always did. Maybe like governments will change, maybe healthcare will change, maybe there'll be different politics about how to handle these situations. But on an individual level, I don't think everyone will get the message. I don't think some people will be like really crying and getting depressed now, and then go back to life and go back to going out with their friends every Friday and getting wasted and then buying dildos for their wives and going back to the corporations, then they won't learn anything from it. They won't have an opportunity to self-reflect. They won't have an opportunity to think, to ask questions about life, and no, they just go back to everything as it was. I a lot of people, but maybe I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
hmm. Things it won't happen right away. Whatever happens, they won't just stop and everything and say, okay, go back to bars. Just stay in the bar now again.
You think
I mean, there
what's
won't
going to
be any bars.
happen in the
I
meantime?
mean, no. First they will start bringing people back to work. That's the first thing. But they'll still won't allow like big gatherings at first.
Okay, okay.
So people will continue to be kind of secluded, but go to work and be more calm about this. Uh, and wait, fucking dialogues, man. Fuck is this game on? I'm just trying to talk.
Man, I got.
Oh, some people robbed me. I mean, and
Yeah,
I
there
missed
was
it.
a quest like this. I went to a prison for a moment in one of the side quests, and I had to beat up like a bunch of fucking idiots to for
But
the
now I robbed them.
for the fucking guards to realize that I'm a dangerous man. And then they.
Thing is, I mean, my hope is imagine all the people that.
Imagine all the people. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this I didn't actually see this video yet, but they say it's pretty bad. Where the
What?
Gal Gadot is the video where Gal Gadot is singing and all the celebrities or whatever.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, like she sang the
That's
song.
the thing. That's one unpopular opinion
Damn, you
from
know
me,
what?
and I like.
Actually, I'm going. I'm sick of this game. I'm going to full podcast mode. I
Yeah.
don't want to play this. I don't know, I'm
Okay.
tired. I'll just stop.
Okay. I'm gonna save it too. I'm gonna exit it too. And we're gonna go full podcast, both of us.
You
Actually,
wanna start a new one maybe?
and you want
But yeah, a new
why?
podcast because this one is already like with the game.
Oh, okay, sure.
But the connection will probably get fucked in a bit.
Uh, well, let's see. Let's start a new one and see what happens.
Sure. Okay. I'll just stop this one.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We love you.
Thanks a
Let's do
lot.
another one.
See you in a bit.